It's been a while since I last brought an M-VAVE product here, and today I'm glad to bring simply their best. Let me show you why. What's up, fellow budget tone chasers? Welcome back to one more video here at the channel. Today, bringing the latest M-VAVE release. Yes, M-VAVE is back. After a long time waiting for the famous MK-300 to be launched, it is finally here. And of course, we could not let it pass without a full review to you. So once again, thank you so much M-VAVE for sending us this amazing product for review. I appreciate the support and trust in our work. After a long series of new products release, M-VAVE finally delivered a massive hit in the affordable multi-effects market. Most of you probably are thinking that it's just another Tank G on steroids, but today I will show you why the MK-300 is simply the most solid product from M-VAVE, and as always, a breakthrough innovation on the extremely affordable market. First things first, let's start by the packaging of this new unit. The packaging is really well done, and inside it also brings the famous USB-C cable and the TRS MIDI plug. The product manual is much bigger, as this product is much more complex in terms of functionalities. The MK-300 is another huge step ahead done in the tank products family, bringing this time a massive improvement compared with the previous product from the family, the Tank Mini. The first huge improvement is the presence of an expression pedal, which can be used as a volume pedal or a controller for other effects, like for example the wah or even the pitch shifter. More than that, it also brings an input for another external pedal or additional foot switches. Talking about inputs and outputs, this is the next massive improvement, bringing finally a double output with true stereo functions, both in 10mm jack and in XLR balanced with the possibility of ground lifting. The product also keeps the traditional headphones output, OTG, and also Bluetooth, which can be used not only to playback, but also for reamping. The multi-effects also kept the internal battery power, which is a pretty cool feature for a multi-effects in this range of functionality. The next amazing improvement is in the controllability. Well, you can already see that on the top of the 4-foot switches, which are fully customizable, and I'll show you how to customize later, it also brings additional customizable knobs for parameters controlling. By standard, the 4-foot switches works as a preset up and down on single step, and also as a 5 dB up and down on single step. With longer steps, the foot switches will move 4 presets up and 4 presets down, almost like a bank up and down. Talking about bank up and down, by clicking the second and third foot switches, it will open a presets map, which will allow you to work with a bank up and down and using the 4-foot switches to select the 4 banks presets. But what about the live mode? Well, if you click the foot switch 1 and 2 simultaneously, it will open the signal chain, and by using the 3rd and 4th foot switches, you'll be able to navigate the signal chain and enable or disable single slots. Is it possible to assign specific slots per foot switches? Yes, we'll find out how soon. On top of that, you'll be able to access the tuner, the looper, and the virtual drummer. On the right side of the control screen, you will find all the slots buttons, which will allow you to shortcut straight to the slot settings, and when clicking again, it turns on or off that slot. In the home settings exists the global BPM, which can be also set in tap tempo with the 4-foot switch inside the drummer screen. And for both delay and modulation, when accessing the slots, the 4-foot switch will become an individual tap tempo, but also it's possible to sync with the global BPM. Is it enough? No. The 4 rotating knobs on top are able to change straight parameters of the presets, starting by the master volume, which is a fixed one, and also the other 3 custom parameters in the other 3 knobs. The same also happens in the 3 knobs under the control panel. But where can I check how to set those parameters? If you click in Pedal Control in the signal chain buttons, a map of functions will open, and you will have the chance to set up whatever you want. On the left side, there are also 4 buttons in which you can set the looper and the drummer, change the screen to global view or to home, and also set up other functions of the multi-effects, like for example, the management of the CC parameters for the MIDI, calibrate the expression pedal, select the behavior of the Bluetooth, and the outputs of the multi-effects. We spoke a lot already, but I still need to tell you what changes in terms of effects, starting by a much more complete signal chain, which brings for the first time the volume, EQ, and the distortion slots. On top of that, the effects are bringing also new cool functions, like for example, the ring mod and the pitch shifter, which when programmed with the expression pedal can work even like a whammy. The modulations have also lots of new functions, and what is the most awaited function since the release of the M-VAVE Mini Universe pedals? After the version 60 of the firmware, the reverbs are now working beautifully in stereo. At last, but not at least, the multi-effects brings 106 slots of presets, with pre-made presets for guitar and bass guitar, so yes, it works for the bass guitar. Another huge storage increase happened in the distortion, preamps and cab sessions, in which can be stored 120 preamps, 120 cabs, and 80 distortion captures. Yes, AM3 captures can be used in these multi-effects. And finally, it's possible to stack captures using the distortion and amp slots on the same time. Enough? Well, let's hear in practice so you can see how this thing is much more silent and sounding so much better compared to the previous ones. Awesome, isn't it? To complete the experience, now M-VAVE has its own community of free captures, so you can download and change the captures which you do not like. Better than that, the big capture producers are also enabling capture packs, like the case of the chop tones. To load the captures, you can do it also via mobile or computer, as well as the update of the firmware, as now there is an upgrade available for macOS. Thank you, M-VAVE! You downloaded the AM3 captures and simply load in the multi-effects using the MFX traditional software, which can be downloaded in the M-VAVE website. What about foot switches customization? Finally, let's take a look at the last in this point, before I jump to my general conclusions. As I told you some minutes ago, by clicking in Control Pedal button, you access the menu with the explanation of each customized control setting. Notice that those settings are preset specific, so you can have custom functions on the knobs and foot switches which are different for each preset. Here is where you can also transform your 4-foot switches in slot enablers, making it look like a live mode. For that, you just need to search in the list for the foot switch and later navigate to the slots functions and select which slot you want to control in each foot switch, in the short step or on the long step. Is it possible to mix banks with slots? Unfortunately, the answer is no. But, you know, a chocolate controller can easily solve it, as it's natively compatible with the MK-300, and in the program A, you'll be able to navigate banks and presets, and you can still customize the 4 native foot switches of the MK-300 for the signal chain slots. Done! But now comes the final conclusion. Is it worth it? For God's sake, yes! The MK300 is being currently sold by the price of $150 in the AliExpress, which is simply ridiculous if you compare with the price of the competition. The only improvement point I would still add is, it is a pity that M-VAVE products are still not NEM compatible, but I am pretty sure that this is just a matter of time until it will happen. But this is only my opinion, and now I want to know yours. Do you agree with me? And as always, if this video was helpful to you somehow, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button so YouTube can spread this video to many other people, and also becoming a member of the channel so you can enjoy special perks like anticipated video releases and participation on monthly gear giveaways. You can do that by clicking join below or reading the QR code at the corner of this video. I'll catch you on the next. Keep on rocking!